Hello and welcome to Rauta's Vinyl Reviews. This time it's actually a double feature. This is a curious one, thanks to the Ván Records delivering me a bunch of vinyl for review. But this is a double vinyl, which is technically speaking almost like a double album, because both of these vinyl are more than 40 minutes in total. And as a result, I was like, wow, how it's taking so much time when I'm listening through to this vinyl, flipping side after side after side after side, A, B, C, D. That is, when listening to this, took me like almost like a whole day to give this proper amount of spins and trying to analyze it a little bit and all that stuff. Now, before we get into even pronouncing the name, which I'm not sure at all how it will be pronounced, I will show you what this LP is all about. A very mysterious cover in a way. I mean, it's not that obvious. Let's add some hell, demon skulls, what have you on the cover, but runic writing and then not so obvious graphic elements here. I mean, it's quite of a brown filled with details, but as you can see in the camera image, not that obvious. The same style is pretty much continued here with nice writing here. This is kind of a well, silvery, kind of a glossy and all. So let's take a look what the ingredients are made of. As you can see, this is not a gatefold, but rather classic sleeve, yet features quite much stuff inside. Here it seems I have packed this in a wrong set of sleeves because I had those black ones inside and then I have these white ones here. That sometimes happens when I have too many vinyl out there with me. So as you can see, comes with a kind of a translucent, not exactly transparent, blood red vinyl with a little bit of marble design here. Looks very nice. This is obviously the disc or vinyl number one. Then we have the second one here, which says D and C respectively. Already getting dusty. That's the downside of vinyl with to go with. Then you have this, how to say, Árstíðir Lífsins inlay with lots of text. As you can figure out, there are lots of lyrics to read, to go by, and even more so with another set of cardboardish thick paper for your reading pleasure. And we're not stopping yet because this also includes a nice poster which features some interesting geographic plays. So pretty nice design with the mirroring image and the sort of mountain behind it. All looking great so far. But now the tricky question comes, and it is of course, but is the music any good? So, Árstíðir Lífsins. I was thinking of the children's story writer Astrid Lindgren when I was thinking like this, and like it's a lot easier name to go with and all that stuff. But of course, a name doesn't ruin a band when the band is good. But let me tell you this much: if you felt back in the days that Dimmu Borgir is a weird name for a band, black metal band, especially when the other ones are more straight to the point with the Emperors and Immortals and the like, well, Árstíðir Lífsins with the weird accents and all. Well, it's not exactly the the name that you want to talk about 4 a.m. in the morning with so many drinks behind during the evening. Anyway, here it says the seasons of life in Icelandic, Iceland/Germany, so international waters. For some reason, this band have escaped me pretty much totally. It's without some exceptions, like somebody dropping me the name 30 years, but honestly, for some reason or another, I never heard this band before this one. I guess I'm missing out. And as you can see, this is the 6th album so far since 2010 when they started with the debut album. And the band is already from 2008. So not exactly a young band anymore. And here is the photo, the promo photo for the band. Nice waterfall and all. now you're getting into the vibe. This is something more nature related rather than, church arsons and satanic topics and all that stuff. And here it goes. Themes are Old Norse literature and history. Well, I'm not going to question that because for review purposes, didn't have the time to read the lyrics as the story always is. Running thin on time and all. Aldrlok is the name of the album, and as you can see here, both discs feature more than 40 minutes of music, 4 tracks on disc number 2, and this is of course the CD version that is. And 41 for second album with 5 tracks. If you click of course the other versions, you will find out it's a double vinyl, and it shows like disc 1 and disc 2 pretty much the similar fashion, but it doesn't include like which side of disc 1 or 2 has which songs. But maybe that's too much details to go with that. Now, as you can probably also see, these names are in Icelandic, so not exactly something you just start reading about and figuring out, okay, it's the stories like that. So you probably need some translation tools or being fluent with Icelandic language to begin with. But of course, now we go back to the music. What is this Árstíðir Lífsins all about with their 6th album, Aldrlok? Now, this is kind of hard to summarize. Let's start with what it says here on the genre, pagan black metal. Surely that's kind of a fitting if you take it as an umbrella term to describe the music, because this can go 2 ways straight from the beginning. First of all, you might be thinking, okay, lots of strong, clean vocals, which is towards folk style. Not even folk metal necessarily, because it's so much away from black metal, especially when you're thinking about the certain production values or style of guitar sound, drums, whatever. The vocal styles especially, and certain riffs. This is like steering away from all that part of the time. And part of the time it's exactly what's going on. Black metal, more or less the second wave. I think in a way it would be fair to call this post-black. And don't think this is a negative statement or anything like that. I'm merely saying because this can go in so many directions during the whole course of more than 80 minutes that it really depends which song you start or part of the song you start with. If you're just randomly going on, say there's this 13 minutes of a song, and you start listening in the middle and you might be, okay, this doesn't sound like black metal at all. And certain other moments you're like, okay, this is actually very, very much like black metal. Now, let's be honest about it. These clean vocal parts are more dominating here. Even if not so much time-wise, especially mood-wise. All about the atmosphere when it comes to this kind of music, and you're thinking these are the parts that dominate here. At certain points, this album is just beautiful. It's all about the beauty, atmosphere, building about different topics and all. And then comes the black metal parts, which is almost like a filler compared to the stronger atmospheric parts here. But I think the real beauty with this album lies that it goes tree's path, like ups and downs. Downs being like going to the small cracks and dungeons and caves and whatnot. And then you come up to the hills and the plains and mounds and what have you. And it's like totally different stuff. So it's almost like a night and day cycle in a way. You get the daytime light and everything is beautiful and gorgeous and you're staring at the beautiful nature with green pastures and all. And then you go by the night time towards these cracks and these caves and whatnot where it's just cold and moist and grim and shit. And that's the beauty of it. Because this is not just like a one-track album divided into a few chapters. I mean, there are plenty of those black metal albums that you feel like whatever happened within the 42 minutes, it sounds like there was one track. Certain bands just stick to very, very strongly in one style, and that's it. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there are plenty of good bands that kind of stick to one-trick pony type of music anyway. But this is quite a different breed, and I was having a hard time to understanding what I'm actually enjoying here. The music itself, it's not hard to come by and understand because it's just so much variety and diversity throughout the course of action. But my mind was trying to pick up I'm actually liking these non-black metallic parts more than the actual black metal here, which is not so much given. especially coming from my territory where I listen mostly to different kinds of black metal or extreme metal, if you count death metal, thrash metal, whatever. All I'm saying here is that this album takes a little bit of a time. I would say it's definitely a grower. I even went back to today, even though I was mostly listening to last week. This is when I'm filming this, not when you're seeing this. And I was thinking like, I kind of want to go back to kind of a remind of the subtleties, of the nice parts on this album, and it's truly an adventure. So yes, if the length sounds like it's an epic one, I mean it technically speaking is more than 82 minutes, but it's also somehow like an epic trip in the sense that it goes through these different moments and atmospheres and all that stuff. So it's, think about Lord of the Rings, a fucking epic book about an epic tale and all that stuff. So instead of like easygoing, nice, simple movie or book or whatever, this one goes like beyond and beyond. It's really an epic tale, and this is now nicely translated into music that is going beyond your typical take of pagan black metal, your typical take of post-black, your typical take of, folkier metal. So definitely lots of folkier parts, strong production, use of different kind of vocals, everything put into one. Now, I'm not going to say this caters to all needs out there. It's kind of too odd for that. But it's nicely made. It's full of details. And even these lengthy tracks, I mean, I'm more than usually kind of annoyed when band songs go for like 7, 8, 13 minutes. Because it's often so that lengthier tracks kind of become boring. They become stalling, like nothing is really happening. There's just repetition after repetition. Whereas this just goes different places, and I didn't even notice how the time went by because the music is good. So definitely one of the most positive surprises through year 2024, because it's such so vast experience. It's so many different styles put into one and still makes a lot of sense. I know I'm rambling here, but I kind of want to explain why it made such an impact for me, where this kind of stuff could have failed it so many times. So unless you're truly allergic to these kind of releases, I would strongly urge you to check this one out. It's a beautiful release with so much good music within that. I think it's definitely one of the best albums of 2024. Take my word for that or don't. It's up to you. Links are there included in the description box for you to figure out. So start clicking, start listening, and if you like as much as I do, consider buying. Especially this vinyl version is beautiful with all the ingredients. So go for it, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care.